G'day, my name is David Hartmann. I live in Brisbane, Australia, and I am the module leader for the Chinese classic subject for the Northern College of Acupuncture. I graduated at the end of 1996 and have been practicing ever since. I have written 2 international Chinese medicine texts, taught at various colleges, presented at conferences, and delivered my own workshops at over a dozen countries around the world. And before I get into the nitty-gritty of the module, I want to give you a brief overview of the value of it first. When I studied my degree back in 1993, we didn't have a subject that looked at the history and origins of Chinese medicine or the culture. It wasn't until I did my master's degree in the early 2000s that I decided to learn more via my project thesis. It was such a fascinating journey that I continued to learn about Chinese history, medicine, and philosophy post-masters. Imagine that, I learned it for fun. Which, more than 10 years on, has me here as your module leader for the Chinese classics at the NCA. I'm so passionate about this topic because no matter where you look, you find something fascinating, something new, something that consolidates your knowledge, even stuff you had forgotten that you are reminded of again. We are going to immerse ourselves in over 2,000 years of medicine. We're going to see how that medicine has defined China throughout the centuries, but we are also going to look at how an Eastern medicine can be applied to a modern westernized world. It doesn't matter where you live in the world, Chinese medicine has made inroads. It has made an impact. Granted, some countries are a little behind others. Take my home country of Australia. We've really only been using Chinese medicine since the late 1970s. Until recently, that was mostly what would be termed traditional Chinese medicine. As in, we learnt a medicine that communist China had developed and sold to the world since the early 1950s. But the world is opening up, and so is Chinese medical history. And this module puts you neck deep in it. Now we can embrace much more than 70 years of the medicine. Now we have access to over 2,000 years of Chinese medicine. You will learn and revisit the classics as well as some pre-modern works that will simply blow your mind. And the great thing about this is that it can be related to your modern clinical practice. Imagine that. You can use the classics to help you become the best practitioner you can be. But it goes way beyond that because the Chinese medical classics were built from a number of philosophical schools, namely Yin and Yang, 5 elements, Taoist, and Confucian. What this means for you and your patients is that the medicine can actually assist you in not just improving your clinical results, it also has the capacity to improve you as a human being. So not only can this module help you become the best practitioner you can be, but it will also compel you to want to be the best possible version of yourself. I'm not even close to joking when I say that either. The Chinese Classics module has the potential to change your life, both in a clinical sense and a personal development sense. It just comes down to what you want to get out of it, really. That all being said, let's briefly look at the module content and requirements. It runs in the first half of the year across an expected 200 student hours. 80 of these are contact, with 120 being private study hours. The module will generate themes which can be explored in advanced therapeutic relationships, student-initiated module, and innovative business development. A snapshot of the module aims are to provide a guided exploration, evaluation, and understanding of key classical texts, to provide students with opportunities to discuss, debate, and interpret the classical text presented, and to develop students' understanding and skills in interpreting the divergent theories presented in the classics. A snapshot of the learning outcomes include independently accessing translations of classical texts, critically evaluating the limitations and advantages of using translated materials, and critically evaluating the information in the text, integrating it with modern theory. The assessment is both summative and formative. They are designed around how to incorporate the classics into modern clinical practice. You have to choose one pre-modern text, which is essentially any text written before 1900. We've offered some suggestions in the module guide, and we'll discuss this further in the first session. You'll be guided on what you can't choose and what you can. This pre-modern text is used to form part of your assessment. In regards to purchasing textbooks for this module, you probably won't need to worry. We have online access to most of the books you're likely to need. It would only be if you are choosing a very obscure text for your assessment. For each session in this module, there will be 2 forum tasks plus a video conference or VC. Your answer to the first task must be published on the forum by Tuesday, and the second task by Thursday. The tasks are meant to guide your study, help you develop the skills needed to achieve the learning outcomes. When you watch the videos, read the background articles or the chapters in the classics, it is good to keep the forum and VC tasks in mind and make some notes as you go along. The video conference is scheduled for Friday 9 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. We have a number of experts in the field that have agreed to provide the NCA with their time and knowledge. I am so grateful to these Chinese medicine legends for giving you their expertise. I also want to thank Min Kai Mai T and Inbal Sivan for improving on previous versions of this module. I have no doubt that this year's will be the best yet. If you need to contact me, please do so. It's David Hartmann at nca.ac.uk. So to conclude, if you have any interest in understanding the classics, then this module is for you. If you have any interest in learning how to use the classics to improve your clinical practice, then this module is for you. And if you have any interest in improving yourself, then this module is for you. Love and light to you all.